Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Earl Hill, and I am broadcasting to you live from my hotel room on a cruise ship on the Nile River. I'm as excited as I can be. This is my first cruise ever, and it's on the Nile River in one of I would say my favorite place now. We have been on a journey here in Egypt for the past 5 days. And I have 4 more days. Well, I have 5 more days to go, actually. And we have seen Cairo, Egypt, including, and been all through Cairo. Not only was it a beautiful hotel, but the sites that we saw, the Cairo Museum, with its historical references to the pharaohs of Egypt, the history of Egypt, the culture, dating back thousands of years, 8,000 years, and artifacts. We were able to see the actual gold gold covering of the tomb of King Tutankhamun, the boy king. I saw that exhibit in Detroit at the Charles Wright History Museum. I didn't have no idea that it was a replica, but the real deal is here in Cairo. I didn't realize it until I tried to take a picture of what they call the funerary mask, which is that gold mask you see of the boy king's face, Tutankhamun. And when I tried to take a picture, there was a security guard undercover, and they said, "No pictures in this room." It was in a small room with security in it, and both his mummification casket and his funerary mask were in there, along with other artifacts, and they were actually gold, and that was the real original mask. So that just piqued not only piqued my interest, but it made me realize the value of travel once again. Certainly, after that, we went to the three pyramids on the Giza Strip. And those are beautiful, beautiful pyramids. Got a chance to walk up to them and walk around them and see, the archaeological wonders that they were. Now, the next day we went to Luxor and the temple at Luxor, and Hotep's temple. We saw the temple at Karnak. Each one of them an amazing journey. One an outdoor museum, and here, these mountains are what just moves me as I look at these beautiful palm trees and all the lush vegetation around the Nile. It's everything I've ever read about or even seen in a movie, but I'm seeing it myself in reality and meeting the people and connecting with them. And they say, "Oh, you're Egyptian. You're like me. Put on this traditional cloth." But certainly there are vendors selling things. But I bought uh, a prayer cloth to pray on. I bought some traditional, some jewelry. I always loved my aunt, the goddess of justice and harmony and peace, and the foundational details of our faith of Christianity are all here in Egypt. Out of Egypt I called my son, and not only means Israel, but it means my son Jesus. As you hear the chanting now, it's about an 80% Muslim country, but the original Christian church is here, the Coptic church. We'll see them on the ninth day of the journey. About 3 days, we'll go to Northern Africa and see the Hanging Church and the original Christian church begun in 60 AD by St. Mark, an African, a verified African. Of course, that gets us closer to the Africanization and of the Hebrews while they were in captivity here in Egypt. So here are the facts. These are archaeological facts. When I walked through the temple at Karnak yesterday and saw uh, this open air museum that had the history and hieroglyphics of the pharaohs. Um, it just let me know, some people say, oh, the Bible is not real. Well, the story is right there. There are over 498 references to Egypt in the Bible and over 800 to Africa in the Bible. So we can prove what's in the Bible. Now, the group I'm with is one of my favorite professors, Dr. Timba Mafiko. His group called the Mafiko Biblical Institute. And this is a journey. Certainly, our tour guides are biblical experts. The guy's a Christian. He's an Egyptian Christian. Um, but he's giving us the deep things you always wondered about. Well, why do we attribute the Egyptians with monotheism when they seemingly had all these gods? They had many attributes to God. And there was a king who came along and said, and it was around the time of Akhenaten, and said, and it was Akhenaten, and that was an interesting king himself, an interesting king, Pharaoh. He said, forget all of these different triune gods, Isis, Osiris, Horus, all these Anubis, there is but one God. All right. And it's even Amun Ra, all those guys, they said there's one God, and it's the living God. And so they came up with a monotheistic understanding that makes the whole world move, the creator of all things. And so it's continuously a very revelatory, a refreshing and renewable trip. I've walked, oh my God, I've walked. That Valley of Kings was strenuous because it's outside. It's not much, you're not shielded from the sun. And there are 30 different pharaohs and kings that are buried within these mountains. As you can see the mountains in the background, there are many mountains here on the desert. And as we travel now, they're doing shofar. And you see the high tower there has speakers on it. And this is a Muslim village. And in the evenings, they do prayer 5 times a day. And this is evening prayer. It is now almost 6 o'clock. They must do this at 5:30. You see the village. All the, they have poverty here as well as they have riches. People are waving at the boat from the pier. And you see how they build their homes up. And you see this whole biblical background to some of the things you hear in prayer. When you see here how they build each family, when you marry someone, they come into your family, you build another level on your house. And so if you see some of the houses are unfinished on the top, they're in the process of building another level because another family member has gotten married. And so each level goes up and up that you live on as you develop well. And this lady is walking along the Nile River, which gives life to all of Egypt. In the Bible, when it says, when Jesus tells us, I go to prepare a place for you, that's what he's talking about. He was giving them a parable in the sense of when they prepare a place for a new family member that's coming in. When he said he was going in my father's house, because all of them, the father lives on the bottom and the mother, and then they build the houses above. I prepare a place for a new family member. That's where that comes from Book of John 14, 1 through 7. I go to prepare a place for you. And I see them walking their cows along the Nile and walking them down to get water and then walking them back. And so anyway, when he says that, he's saying he goes to heaven. His father's house has many mansions. It means it has many buildings on top of buildings and put up in buildings, a place for you. So we're looking at this huge mountain in the background that you can see. You are here with me. I will come around so you can see me for a moment and just share with you that it has been and is a wonderful journey. And I'll continue to share more with you as we continue. This is the Nile Valley. I mean, the Nile River. And as we go down the Nile River, I want you to know it is the most refreshing dynamic to really see what God has done through Africans to bless the world. Not only the heart of civilization as we know it, but the heart of the beginnings of man. And I thought it was pretty powerful that there was an archaeologist who has recently been nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize. He discovered that Homo sapien, man, began in Africa 4 million years ago. But he discovered that Homo sapien man began to wander beyond and left Africa. They began to wander beyond Africa 75,000 years ago. So all Homo sapiens, human beings, began to wander beyond here, and they ran into Neanderthal man when they went north. And Neanderthal man mixed with Homo sapiens, and that's why 1 to 2% of our DNA has Neanderthal man. But Homo sapiens are the human beings that we are all emanated from Africa. That guy's about to get an award, and this is the proof of it here. Here in the lower Nile, down near the Gihon and Pishon rivers in Uganda and Kenya and Ethiopia, this is where we originated. So enjoy this view as we cruise along the Nile together. Thank you for joining me this evening. It is day 5 for us here. So this must be October, I believe it's October 3rd. October 3rd. We left on the 29th, 30th, 1st, 2nd, 3rd. Yeah, this is Tuesday, October 3rd. So enjoy, enjoy, enjoy. God bless you. And we'll talk to you tomorrow. I really want to share some of the temples that we'll see the next few days with you. And also I want you to see the Coptic Church, which began in 60 AD. That's just 60 years after Christ's resurrection by St. Mark the Apostle, who was an African. And that church still goes on today. Oh, here I am. Can you see me? Can you see me? Here I am. Here, enjoy. This is our hotel room. I have a roommate from New York. This is 25 preachers with the Mafiko Biblical Institute. Dr. Timba Mafiko was my Old Testament and exegesis professor at the Interdenominational Theological Center some 30 years ago. And we've maintained a relationship through just friendship, biblical study, and the desire to know more about God. We've become friends now. And there's a group of 25 really great people, preachers and pastors and some church leadership, and we're just having a good time. All of us from America, most of us from the Atlanta area. God bless you. Peace and be with you. Let you close out looking at that beautiful Nile River. Isn't that something?